For decades, Jane Fonda was the picture of beauty, success, and strength. An Oscar-winning actress, fitness icon, and political activist, she seemed untouchable. But behind the glamour, her truth was far darker. She battled eating disorders that nearly destroyed her, crippling loneliness that haunted her for decades, and a devastating cancer diagnosis that forced her to confront her own mortality. How could a woman who inspired millions spend so much of her life feeling broken? Jane Fonda was born into Hollywood royalty in 1937, the daughter of legendary actor Henry Fonda. To the outside world, her life looked like a dream: privilege, beauty, and opportunity. But inside the Fonda household, things were far from perfect. Her mother, Frances Ford Seymour, battled mental illness and tragically took her own life when Jane was only 12 years old. This trauma left deep scars, shaping much of Jane's struggles with identity and self-worth. Fonda has openly admitted that growing up, she always felt she wasn't enough. In her memoir, she confessed, "I was raised in the belief that if I wanted to be loved, I had to be perfect." That pressure soon manifested in destructive ways. By the time she was in her 20s, Fonda developed bulimia. The eating disorder consumed her life for years, controlling her relationships, her career, and even her health. She later revealed that she lived with the illness well into her 40s, saying in a 2018 interview that it was like being trapped in a prison. At the height of her fame in the 1970s and 1980s, when she was celebrated as a fitness guru selling millions of workout tapes, Fonda was privately fighting her own body every day. It wasn't until she reached middle age that she finally found the strength to break free. She admitted that the turning point came when she realized her health was at stake. "I didn't want to live that way anymore." But by then, decades of pain had already taken their toll. While Jane Fonda's career skyrocketed, with Academy Awards for Klute and Coming Home and her reign as America's fitness queen, her personal life told a very different story. She married 3 times, first to French director Roger Vadim, then to political activist Tom Hayden, and later to billionaire Ted Turner. Yet despite the appearances of glamorous partnerships, Fonda admitted she often felt profoundly alone. In her autobiography, she revealed that much of her romantic life was spent trying to mold herself into the woman her partners wanted, rather than being true to herself. She wrote, "I was always trying to please the man. I never knew who I really was." That desperate search for approval stemmed from the insecurities planted in her childhood, insecurities she never fully escaped. Her marriage to Ted Turner, one of the most powerful media moguls in the world, seemed perfect from the outside. They traveled the globe, lived in luxury, and were a power couple admired everywhere. But years later, Fonda confessed that despite the wealth and the glamour, she felt invisible. She longed for a deeper connection, but realized Turner could never give her the emotional intimacy she craved. Their divorce in 2001 marked the end of her marriages, and also the beginning of a period of profound self-reflection. By her 70s, Fonda finally began speaking openly about her struggles with loneliness. In a 2011 interview, she admitted, "I was lonely for most of my life." For fans who had seen her as a beacon of strength and independence, this confession was both shocking and heartbreaking. By the time Jane Fonda reached her 80s, she was already celebrated as a survivor, someone who had endured tragedy, divorce, scandal, and addiction, yet always seemed to emerge stronger. But in 2022, she revealed something that stunned even her most loyal fans. She had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a serious form of cancer. True to her fearless nature, Fonda did not hide the diagnosis. She announced it publicly on social media, writing, "I'm fortunate because this is a very treatable cancer. I feel very lucky." Still, the revelation sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. At an age when many would retreat into silence, Jane chose to confront her illness openly, using her platform to speak about the importance of healthcare access and prevention. She began chemotherapy treatments and kept her supporters updated. While her tone was often optimistic, she also spoke candidly about the exhaustion, the physical toll, and the sobering awareness of mortality that came with it. Fonda admitted that her illness forced her to reflect more deeply than ever before on the reality that her life was closer to its end than its beginning. For fans who had grown up watching her lead exercise classes and play strong, fiery characters on screen, the image of Fonda battling cancer was heartbreaking. Yet it also reinforced her resilience. Even in her darkest hours, she turned her personal struggle into a message of courage and advocacy, reminding the world that she had never been afraid to face the truth head-on. In recent years, Jane Fonda has spoken more openly about the realities of growing old than almost any other Hollywood star. She has admitted to struggling with the physical and emotional weight of aging, saying in a 2021 interview, "I know I'm closer to death, and it doesn't really bother me that much. What bothers me is that my body is not mine anymore." These words shocked her audience. For decades, Fonda had been admired for her vitality, her grace, and her seemingly ageless beauty. Yet, at 87, she made it clear that even she was not immune to the struggles of time. She described waking up with the aches and limitations of an older body, grappling with the loss of energy, and feeling the isolation that can come with age. She also confessed to moments of deep sadness, especially when reflecting on the years she spent trapped in insecurity and eating disorders. The knowledge that she had lost so much time to self-doubt weighed heavily on her. But instead of burying these feelings, she shared them, offering her story as both a warning and a source of comfort to others facing similar struggles. In her trademark honesty, Fonda has acknowledged that she is trying to make the most of the time that's left. From climate activism to mentoring younger women, she has chosen to spend her final years in service of others. Still, her admissions about loneliness, regret, and mortality remain some of the most vulnerable statements she has ever made. When Jane Fonda spoke openly about her struggles with aging, illness, and regret, the reaction was immediate and intense. Media outlets across the globe covered her candid confessions, often with headlines highlighting her words about death and loneliness. Fans who had admired her since the 1960s were moved, some even shocked, by her willingness to say what so many fear to admit. Her honesty about her eating disorders in particular reignited a conversation that stretched beyond Hollywood. Generations of women who had once followed her exercise tapes now reflected on the double standard of beauty and the impossible expectations placed on female stars. By admitting that her battle with bulimia lasted well into her 40s, Fonda exposed a hidden reality behind the glamour of her public image. In 2022, when she revealed her cancer diagnosis, the reaction grew even stronger. Social media flooded with messages of support, from fans to fellow celebrities. Many praised her courage, not just for fighting the illness, but for using her platform to raise awareness. She became a symbol not of frailty, but of resilience. As one fan wrote online, "Jane Fonda has been inspiring us for 60 years, and she's still teaching us how to live honestly." Fonda's revelations had a profound impact on her reputation. Once remembered primarily as a glamorous actress and controversial activist, she came to be seen in a new light, as a truth-teller. Her willingness to expose her flaws and vulnerabilities set her apart in an industry built on illusion. Her cancer battle also deepened her public connection. Unlike many celebrities who retreat into privacy during illness, Fonda remained visible, attending protests, appearing in interviews, and continuing her activism. This blend of personal struggle and public resilience created an image of strength that resonated across generations. News outlets called her fearlessly transparent. Younger fans, who had discovered her through Netflix's Grace and Frankie, embraced her openness about aging as a refreshing counterpoint to the curated perfection of social media. For older audiences, she became a voice for their own unspoken fears about bodies that change, time that slips away, and the inevitability of mortality. At 87, Fonda no longer tries to project an image of perfection. She allows herself to be vulnerable, and in doing so, she has created a powerful form of inspiration. Her story shows that even in the face of illness, regret, and aging, life can still hold purpose and dignity. Thanks for watching. Click here to check another video and make sure to subscribe to our channel.